If we just talk way back at the pre-show, you said you didn't really agree with some of how Jurgen Klopp does his rotational policy. Where's the balance between resting players and playing squad players, and the squad, having the need for a squad?
I think there has to be a physiological reason for some players being rested. I understand that. But when you prioritise games, you're essentially telling the players who aren't in the big games that you're just a bit part player. And at some point, especially when it's earlier on in the season, at some point you're going to rely on these players to be part of the bigger games going forward. And I think a lot of the communication, I mean, it's interesting because Jurgen Klopp's lost his number 2 recently. The number 2 role often is that conduit between the manager and the players. He will explain the manager's thoughts without the manager having to do it. So as I say, when you do this rotation thing, you need to keep that changing room buoyant and engaged and feeling like they have a value. Yeah. And Jurgen Klopp has been guilty in the past, I think, especially when it comes to the FA Cup and the League Cup, for playing really understrength sides. Basically telling those players that you're not really going to figure too much, we're just doing this to let the others have a rest.
Yeah. But I think most people would say that Jurgen Klopp is a great man manager. You see him come on the field at the end of the game, he's got his arm round players, he's celebrating with them, he's picking them up. So he appears to be a very, very good man manager. And I kind of get the feeling that he is more than capable of keeping that squad all together and buoyant, whether you're a member of the squad who plays some of the time or you're a member of the squad who actually is truly a starter in these strongest 11.
Well, it's mentioned Pep Guardiola, and having the best squad available and winning the league the way he has in the second year. I mean, Jurgen hasn't won anything with Liverpool. Liverpool have had a fantastic squad since Jurgen's been there. Yes, he's made players better, granted, and there was a lot of question marks over those players. The man management bit that we see on a match day is 1 day in a week. It might be 2 days if you've got midweek games as well.
In front of the cameras.
Indeed, and I'm not saying he isn't, but a lot of the work and most of the work that goes towards these games, Man City's performance today wouldn't have just been the 90 minutes on the field, it would have been the preparation for that 90 minutes. So the lead up to today's game could have been very different to what they would have normally done in a game which they need to win. So it's not just the 90 minutes in Huddersfield needing to get a point, blah, blah, blah. It's more about that preparation time. And that's where the man management skills, that's where the number 2, the coaching staff, and again, going back to Pep Guardiola, that the rapport that the off-field staff had with the players and Pep Guardiola after that game tells you how strong that unit is.
Yeah.
Now, for Liverpool to lose a number 2, you question whether that unit...
Under circumstances that we don't know.
No, but then...
True ins and outs of it at the moment.
Of course, and you can only guess. But the fact that someone that important and high profile has left suggests that it wasn't as strong as it could have been, for whatever reason.